So, what's your name and your company?
My name is Eli Lipschutz. Company name is Eli Lipschutz.
And what do you do?
I'm in diamonds.
Diamonds. So, one of the things that we've seen and we've heard many times in the past is people that bought diamonds and got ripped off, finding out only later, years later sometimes, that it's not real or it's not the full money's worth. What can you tell me about the industry in general and what people could actually pay attention when they're actually buying diamonds?
Well, I'm in business already over 40 years, Baruch Hashem, and I don't think anybody felt like they were ripped off when they bought anything from me.
Baruch Hashem.
And I'm trying to keep it that way because that's the natural way of doing business. And there's a new thing in the 47th Street, we call it a lab-grown diamond. It's a very interesting word. It shocked us all on 47th Street when we heard that word because it is slowly eating up our business.
What does it mean?
The word lab-grown means that actually it gets grown in a machine. They take a little sliver of diamonds, it's put in like an incubator, and it gets grown into bigger diamonds. Mm-hmm. And it's very cheap to produce. And that's why, at the end of the day, the consumer gets that product for much cheaper than real.
But it's not a comparison. It's not a real diamond.
It's not a real diamond, right? Mm-hmm. 6 months ago, if you would have asked me, I would tell you, don't even go close. But I see it's shifting that way. I guess I'm going to shift that way also. I can only see the difference through studying through a loop. And sometimes, even with a loop, it's not enough. I need a machine to see the difference.
Oh, wow. So basically, if there's players in the market that don't play it trustworthy, they could actually sell you such a lab-grown diamond for the value for a regular diamond.
A matter of fact, there was a big arrest this week. Somebody that had a storefront on 37 West 47th Street. He was arrested because the consumer bought something and went in and checked it later, and it was a lab.
Oh, wow. Now, in terms of the purchases, when it comes to diamonds, are those things that depreciate with time and they lose the value, or usually a good piece of diamond stays, the value is there?
It depends on the market. It's been going down in the last few years. Real diamonds have been fallen quite an amount, and consumers are getting serious right now. Mm-hmm. If you can see, I have here a stone, which is a 2-carat E-color. 2 years ago, this stone costed me over $10,000. Today, I can sell it for $6,000.
So what does it mean? The value has deteriorated because there is much more demand or less demand?
There's less demand, and also the global market in diamonds has gone down a little bit.
Because of the lack of demand?
Because of the lab-grown is number one.
The lab-grown.
And reasons that we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, look, one of the things that I think for our listeners is very important is you mentioned something very important. You said, like 6 months ago, 12 months ago, you said, don't touch it. Right. And now you're adapting.
Right.
You've been in this space for 40 years, Baruch Hashem. It's a long time. Have you seen other trends in those 40 years, like come and go? Or is this the first time that the space is feeling something totally different?
Like now, we never felt. This is a new thing that we're in shock. Mm-hmm. Totally in shock.
Where does it come from? Like who's behind it?
This is being mostly manufactured in India. Uh-huh. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know about it. The Prime Minister of India gave a present to Mrs. Biden, the 5-carat lab-grown diamond. That was like when we saw that, it was, whoa!
Wow!
This is something that we really have to look out for. It's like, look at this.
Got it. Let's speak about the average consumer that works with you or works in general. What are the things that the person needs to look out when they're buying a piece of jewelry?
First thing, you have to make sure you're dealing with honest people. If not, they can do anything to you. And you don't know as a consumer, you don't know the difference. You must have total faith in who you're dealing with. There's no other way.
Okay, and obviously that's a good advice because people sometimes hear about a resource, you could go to there and buy cheap and stuff like that, and you don't know where it's coming from, as you mentioned before. Trustworthy is an important thing, and obviously, being 40 years in the business, there's a testament there that of earning your trust. What other things would you advise people when it comes to a purchase, as far as like budget-wise? Are you relying on the customer giving you the budget? Are you suggesting what makes sense to buy in different stages?
Budgets is a thing that everybody comes in. Somebody, $5,000 is by him a lot of money. The next consumer that's coming in is coming in with a much bigger budget, so he's laughing from 5,000. When somebody walks in, you have to understand where they're coming from, what they want to spend.
Mm-hmm. And you adapt basically the selection and everything according to the budget of the client.
Sure. I'll give you a very quick. As you can see, we have 2 pieces of earrings. These 2 are lab grown. This one, actually, I just sold it to one of our razors here for $1,300. There's 3 carats and 0.2 of lab grown diamonds. They are gorgeous. You can't see the difference. If this would be real, it'd probably be $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And they have a smaller one here, which is going to go into the girdle today. Where everybody that's here today will be lucky one.
Oh, wow.
Minute. And this is about $700. If this is real, it's probably about $3,000.
Oh, wow. And do you feel that this is going to stay the trend?
I think so.
Got it. You've been in the business for a long time. There's a lot of listeners listening to the show, and they're always looking for a good piece of advice. What advice would you give somebody on sales, customer service, in general, running the business that's been working for you?
Main thing is you stand behind your product, and people trust you. They see what they repeats, they come again. Actually, I used to be only in wholesale, so my customers are over 40 years, and they call me every day to come. That's the best thing. Come again, come again. That just shows that you're doing the right thing.
Beautiful. How could people find out more about you? You want to give your phone number or email address?
My phone number is 917-653-6269. Email address is like my name, Eli Lipschutz, ELILIPSCHITZ@gmail.com.
Beautiful. For our listeners, take care of your customers and make sure that you're trustworthy, because this is the most important piece of advice in this industry, and so for consumers. If you're going to be buying jewelry, make sure you're buying it from a real source. And ultimately, if you're in an industry that starts to shift and adapt, make sure that you adapt along. So like this, you could ultimately stay up the trend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Pleasure.